Hey folks, Steve here with another Dark Valley video. We're going to be looking at turn 29 in this video. A couple of things for turn 29, and I'll just zoom out a little bit to show where we're at again. So a lot of space to cover here, and this is the last turn for 1943, and with the turn track there you can see if we were playing the Operation Citadel scenario, this would be the last turn of that. So that scenario is what, like 6 turns long? I think Operation Citadel might make for a fun, if you're just going to play one scenario, you go play that, but our situation is so radically different from history that I don't think it matters very much. And so, yeah, this is a snow turn, and the Axis is not getting reinforcements. The Soviets sort of are, and then there'll be replacements this turn. So just in terms of what's coming, the Soviets are going to get another artillery unit, which is much appreciated. We're going to get another Guard infantry corps, so I'll have to go hunt down those last 1-4 units, wherever the heck they are, and get them knocked out. And then we're going to have another Guard tank army conversion, which is troubling because it's like I've got to peel some units away from the front line in order to put that concentrated unit down. So we'll have to see how that affects the game state a little bit. And then, now something it's worth pointing out here, it's not relevant for this turn, it's going to be relevant for next turn, is that on turn 30, the Axis is going to have some withdrawals, and they're going to lose a Panzer Division, a Panzer Army HQ, and an air unit and its base again. And so we've been slowly losing those over time. We're going to lose another set again here, and presumably these guys are going off to fight on the Western Front or the Italian Front, since I don't think D-Day has happened yet. I don't believe so. Not in 43. That's 44, right? Yeah, we're gonna get into that here. So as usual, I'm going to take care of the reinforcements and then all the replacements again. The Axis is going to get 2, 2, and 4. The Soviets are going to get their 30 points or whatever. And then we will see what happens. We are going to have a different action chit recipe this turn, and we'll see how that goes. And really just need the Soviets to find a place to smash through. But with the shortening of the line that's sort of happening, that helps the Soviets a little bit as well. And they can kind of move stuff around to the point where they can get a lot of that concentrated firepower that they really need to make stuff start to happen here. So we'll see what happens. I'll put a cut here, and when we come back, we will be taking a look at the action phase stuff. I'll do the strategic movement as usual, and all that stuff will be straightforward. But yeah, we'll take care of that. See you in a second. Okay. Well, here's the if the camera stand. Here's the action chit recipe. So you'll notice we have one less, one fewer, I guess. Panzer HQ activation chits, and I get just the one. And I've selected the 4th Panzer. That's the HQ supporting Smolensk. I suspect I may, over time, have to start figuring something out over there, as things are maybe going to heat up in that sector. So I selected that, and then otherwise the Soviets have the same as last turn, though I think 44 is going to start bringing on the full combat chit. So all is good there. Now there's a whole argument to be made. I keep making a mistake by moving first. Maybe I should be doing something else. So here's the thing. I decided to put nothing in Stavka Reserve. I didn't really have a lot of great options for guys on rail lines that made sense to pull off. I'm starting to concentrate them where I think they need to be. I used my rail moves to kind of shift a couple things around. And we're going to be putting a lot of firepower here. Is going to be the critical crack point, I think, to really cause issues. And so what we're going to try to do then from here is we're going to smash through and just put this whole area over here at risk, if I can. That's the goal. in terms of everything else, I mean, none of the other steps here were too crazy. I rolled maximum for Soviet replacements, but I ended up not needing that many at all. A lot of guys are topped off. Even the Axis, a lot of their units on the map, or almost every unit on the map, is full strength if it has a two-step counter. And now it's almost like, hey, the Axis is starting to get some of my depleted infantry units over here back on the board due to those replacements, and that's not good for the Soviets. They really need to be killing these guys, and I just can't seem to be making it happen yet, at least not yet anyway. So here we go. We'll go into turn 29, and we're just going to select the Soviet move, and I'm just going to do the move. We got to do it. We got to bring these guys up. I got to rotate a few guys out and get ready for some combats this turn, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'm going to take care of the movement, and then we'll be back. Okay, well, Soviet movement's done, and we are all lined up and ready to start attacking in the critical places. You know, the funny thing is the Axis retreats. You know, the reality is, even if they're retreating, they're eventually going to run out of places to go, and we ought to be able to catch something and knock something loose so that we can get in a couple places. That's my hope, anyway. So we're going to go to the Cup. Stavka really... I'm going to end up not using Stavka because I don't have any units in the Stavka reserve. I realized that's not using Stavka intelligently, but again, I don't have a lot of options on the board right now to say, okay, well, here's enough combat factors for that extra attack to really matter. It really doesn't. And again, I'm gambling, and it's gone against me now a couple of times. Like my first chit draw is not going to be one of those Axis chits, but I realize there's a decent chance of that happening every time because it's the Ord chit. So I don't know. All right, let's see what happens. We're going to go to the Cup. Logistics. Is this going to be a repeat of last turn? I don't know. Evidently, it is going to be a repeat of last turn. Jesus. All right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. The Axis are going to take a move, guys. This is exactly what happened last turn. I don't know. I don't know. Is it all going to shake out in the exact same order? That'd be really interesting to see happen here. This is the challenge, right? I'm going to move forward, and now the Axis is going to move back as well. And they're going to shorten their line this move too, which means things are going to get a little bit harder for the Soviets. I mean, they're making the distance, which is nice, but they're going to need more than that to win this thing, I think. But okay, I'll be back. Well, you can see here the movement is complete, and again, we're just retreating a hex back, making attacks largely useless, depending on the order that the attacks come out in anyway. And yeah, just a tough gig right now for the Soviets. Though, if you look, we're getting awfully close to being at the edge of Kharkov, Stalino, I mean, even really, Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporozhye aren't that far away. So it's like, you know, yeah, we're retreating, but the Soviets are starting to gain some of that ground back. Things will get a little interesting here. I still can't quite retreat here. If I give up any hexes up here, then I'm giving up Smolensk, and that seems to be, so far, has been a problem for the Soviets to take. So we're going to try to hold on to it a little bit longer because these guys down here are still catching up, and I don't know. It's sort of like I could move these guys back a lot and sort of get an even line sooner. But here I'm still delaying, and I'm delaying successfully. So it's like as the Axis, I don't want to change much. Just a little bit, tiptoeing our way back, fighting defensively, so to speak. So we're going to go to the Cup. We're going to see what comes out, and what we get. Okay, so there is 4th Panzer. I actually don't think there's anything the 4th Panzer wants to do, because they have just about everything where they want it. I think the only thing I might do is make an adjustment of 1 unit, and I need to see where I'd want to put him... 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's all I really wanted to do there. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. That's it. Yeah, we're gonna go to the next chit in the cup, and we get Combat Stavka Zhukov. Well, all right. So that's a bit of a bummer. We're not going to be able to do anything up the line, but up here we will. And I can still maybe do those low, the penalty attacks here in the north. So I'm going to take myself off camera. I'm going to evaluate what we can do with this Combat Stavka Zhukov, and then we'll come back. Well, finally the Soviets get some luck, and it's amazing that they did. Because we've got now we had a retreat over here, which now puts the Soviets several hexes around Smolensk. We also got a BL-1 over here, which wasn't great, but we'll take it, and that's going to start to give us better positioning on Smolensk, which is really important. So we're going to pull the next chit. Now, it almost doesn't matter what I draw here, but we'll see what we get. Alright, so this is the Axis combat chit, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's any combat that makes any sense whatsoever. I had looked before, and there's just not enough combat factors to go around that it makes sense to do combat. So we're just simply going to pull Deep Battle now, and we're going to pick Stavka. And now here's the thing, what can we do here, right? We've got some opportunities. We can move some guys forward on the line after after combat. But very critically, we've got an opportunity here to make some combats happen against Smolensk, and we might even be able to take it depending on how things shake out. So the Axis is sort of out of air power. I'll have to see if their remaining air can reach Smolensk. I don't think it can, so this could be a very critical combat. I'm going to take myself off camera and handle that, but the Soviets are really hoping here for the taking of Smolensk and endangering the sort of center of the German line. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are. Exciting things happened. So the Soviets have taken Smolensk. Now, the thing about Smolensk was, and I maybe should have arranged things better, I had 6 combat factors defending Smolensk, and after taking those hexes around it, or the one hex near it, I was able to get a lot of combat factors concentrated on the city. And, there was some air power. The Axis actually did get to throw in some of their air power. The whole thing. It actually didn't matter because I rolled well enough to cause a DR result, even with the city defense, and it forced them out. And so what we ended up with was, I moved, and then a movement after combat, I got the Axis out a little bit. I couldn't do anything here, but I moved some units up, and there you go. So the line has been broken, or at least forced back, and now we're looking pretty good. We're projecting some Zocs back here. Unfortunately, due to Zocs here and nearby, I couldn't make a real deep penetration here. There just wasn't enough room. But I think this is going to cause a problem where the Axis really can't do a whole lot, and now we can start thinking about, can we start to push and exploit down, or even force the Axis to retreat harder than they were going to. So this is all good, but unfortunately for the Soviets, that is the end of the turn, and that's all we got. Now that does bump this down now. We're down to 31 victory points based on Voronezh and Rostov being taken, and now Smolensk, but there's still a long way to go. So amazingly, this video is being recorded, or finished being recorded, the same day I was finishing turn 28. This is because I have some things going on that I need to keep an eye on late into the evening right now, and so I've got, bits and spurts while I'm waiting for things to churn uh, on some stuff that I'm keeping an eye on, so I can kind of step away, step back, step away, step back, and monitor. So it's helping me out to record a little extra. So we're going to have a little bit of extra. Hopefully, if I have time to record tomorrow, I don't have guaranteed time tomorrow, but at least today I can get some videos in. So we've at least got 2 videos this week. So hope you guys are enjoying. Next video, we're going to get into 1944, and from there things are going to get a little more hectic, though. Gosh, we don't get the really good stuff until June of 1944 for the Soviets, but I think we're finally able to make some progress, which I think is really important. And we need to keep that up. So we will be back next time, and until then, guys, take care and keep on gaming.